after that. Cool. And then we'll come back and discuss our flavor notes and things like that. We don't need to get too in depth regarding cupping scores or anything too crazy like that. Just just discuss what flavors we're getting, discuss what kind of aromas we're getting, our thoughts on the coffees and that sort of thing. All right, so I'll check this over to Charles and he can get started.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Good? Well, yeah. Charles? Okay. All right. What we're doing is we're cupping coffee today. One is the Maria, and before let me introduce myself. My name is Charles. I'm the coffee quality and the micro roaster at the Richmond Roastery. Nice to meet you all. Now that you see my faces, whenever you order coffee or you have a coffee complaint, don't hesitate to shoot an email, and yeah, I shall do my best, to have a look for you. Okay, let me start the presentation. Going too far. Which one is right? Page. And that basically, I'm gonna introduce the coffee. We start drying and smelling. Okay, we begin with the Colombian del Agua, which is the where Colombia Villa Maria came from. It's basically run by neighbors and crops or companies, La Palma y Chucan. They created these neighbors and crops with the objective to share their innovation in processing techniques to a greater audience. And the second objective is to actually help the farmers to elevate the quality of their coffee. Now, Del Agua coffee is located in La Sierra Nevada, Santa Marta in Colombia. Now, La Sierra Nevada, Santa Marta is the highest coastal mountain in the world. So it's what they claim to be. It has biodiverse climate with a temperature range from 14 to 23 degrees Celsius. As a result of that, it creates a unique microclimates that help the concentration of sugar in the coffee cherries, which you are going to be tasting soon. Now, the area, the Del Agua as a mill, they process the coffee by using natural and honey processing methods. Now, this way, by using methods, it promotes to reduce the water usage, because normally in Colombia, they actually wash their coffee, but at this area, they're trying to preserve their water, thereby maintaining that biodiversity climate. They're trying to reduce it by approximately 880,000 liters per year. Now, the aim is to protect its biodiversity environment. Going further, now we're gonna showing you the location where is the La Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta. If you look at the map there, it's gonna point out with the arrow. This is where the mountain is located around this area, Santa Marta. Taking this view from the Google, and if you see the Colombia, that's a map of Colombia, and we're going up north, which is up there. So it's really beautiful place to be in sort of checking out the photographs image, because they're about 40 kilometers from the beach, the shoreline, and also they've got the mountain terrain to about 1,600, 2,000 meters above sea level. So it's really amazing. Now we're talking about the coffee, Colombia Villa Maria. It comes from the village San Javier, Cienaga. Now I'm gonna take you there slightly, since we can't fly there. Might as well just take you there. How do you click? Link. Moment. Seamless. Oh, you can.
It might be because you're trying to share.
Yeah, try that.
Yeah. the location. Right at the moment. So you can see how beautiful the terrain is after they actually plant all the Arabica coffee. It's got an amazing view. It's $1 million view. To me, I really love it. I wish I could live there. The house. That is beautiful. Yeah, so that's pretty much the location. And coming back again to the PowerPoint, let me continue that. Right, altitude is about 1610. The variety is Castillo. This is now becoming the common variety in Colombia. They've basically started that variety in 2005. Part of the, well, the idea, because it has that main characteristics of being resistant to leaf rust and other diseases, and the dwarf tree that can be planted in high density, thus increasing yields per hectare. So that's why they selected Castillo. The farmer that produces this coffee, his name is Carlos Mario Castro, and his wife, Yolima Gonzalez, is 20 years old with 12 years experience of growing coffee. Right? How old is he? No, he's 28. Yep, 28 years old. Yeah, and he grows over 20,000 Arabica Castillo coffee trees on 5 hectares of his 7 hectares farm. And Carlos and his wife, Yolima, they have 2 sons. They raise them together. Around their farm, they have a wide variety of flora and fauna. They also have howler monkeys that sort of wake them up in the morning, keep the environment in mind by not using pesticides. So this is organic. They also have plenty of shade-giving trees to protect their crops and the animals they share the land with. Okay, moving on to the next one. Processing. Now we are processing in Delagua. As I said before, it's a natural process going through the pre-fermentation stage of 24 hours at the receival station. And next, after that, the coffee is moved to the drying stage. And they are placed next after that in African style raised beds for 25 days to dry it off, which it will be raked and rotated every 4 hours to maintain the homogeneity of the coffee. The first days are crucial to avoid the microbial activity prolongations due to high levels of sugar and moisture. And finally,
can I just ask you something? Because I was doing a little reading about like carbonic maceration, anaerobic, aerobic, and all of that sort of stuff. And for some reason, all of it sort of sounds the same to me. Like, so I'm finding it, can you explain maybe a little bit more about, so I know you said something about pre-fermentation for 24 hours. This is with the skin on still, is that right? And then
yes, that's correct, with the skin on.
And then then it gets taken off and then it gets put on the African raised beds, is that right?
Yep,
okay.
That's correct. As is. So there's no, I mean, this is not carbonic maceration as such. It's more like natural process, the way how the La Palma Chucan sort of done theirs at their mill. It's pretty what I call a standard natural process.
Yeah.
In their terms, so they don't do as much as sort of keeping it in the tank and then having it, like creating a new flavor as such. That will be done through the honey process. They have a second process that they also done at the Delagua.
Okay, cool. And I guess like honey again, like it's different, like it's different over like in Delagua in compared to
yeah. So they pretty much removed the the skin of the cherry, coffee cherry, and leaving the mucilage a little bit. I mean, like you still have, you're looking at maybe 25% being removed, and you still have 75% sort of attached with the parchment and the seeds before they start, drying it off.
Yeah.
That's how they do it.
Cool. Thanks, Charles.
Yep, you're welcome. Moving on. Now, this is, I'm going to show you the Villa Maria on location. The farmer on the left, Carlos Mario Castro, and his wife on the right. You can see Jolima Gonzalez with their beautiful sons. And that's pretty much showcasing the photo of their farms in Colombia. That's the presentation that I have for Colombia Villa Maria. And next one, the Kenya Gathaithi second coffee. This is grown in Nyeri County region, and it has an altitude of 1,200 to 2,300 meters above sea level. Kenya Gathaithi has the variety of SL28, SL34, and Ruiru 11. Just want to highlight SL is, for those of you that not familiar with the term of SL, it is stands for Scott Agricultural Laboratories. Back in 1935 and 1939, they sort of do a genetic background of a typica sort of variety of the coffee, and they come up with the SL28. Next, the Ruiru 11 is a composite variety made of many varieties. On the other hand, it's got Timor and multi-cross selection of involving K7, SL28, and 39, Sudan, among others. So they've been sort of doing a lot of cross hybrid of the coffee. This pretty much to try to get the coffee to withstand the coffee berry disease, CBD, epidemic back in 1968. At the time, they have a loss of 50% of Kenya's production. That's the variety side. And I'm moving into the Gathaithi. The Gathaithi comes from the name of Gathaithi Factory. It's a wet mill operated by the Gathaithi Farmers Cooperative Society. It has 1,250 active smallholders, farmers with farms of total 156 hectares. The total coffee production is around 100,000 kilograms annually, 102 tons. And formerly it was known as the Giant Tetu Coffee Farmers Society, located within the Tetu district in Nyeri County. This location, this location is about 160 kilometers north of Nairobi in central Kenya. The factory is situated between Mount Kenya and the Aberdare ranges. Nyeri region is known for coffees with intense, complex, and flavor-dense cup profile. Next, can you get it? Right, that's a little bit of map that I could sharing with you, courtesy of C. Dorman, our exporter, as well as the processing that helps them as well. Nyeri is right in the central, as you can see on the map, where my arrow is located. Nyeri region is there, just next to Mount Kenya. On the south, down south is the Nairobi. Again, it's a beautiful area. Visit. Processing. It's a wash process. Now, the wash process over there, they have the cherries are hand sorted for unripes and overripes by the farmers before they go into production, and they're using a 4-disc Agarde disc pulping machine to remove the skin and the pulp. After that, the coffees are graded by density into.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Hello. Sorry.
Yep. The coffees are graded by density into 3 grades by the pulper. Grade 1 and grade 2 go separately to fermentation process, whereas the grade 3 is considered low grade that goes directly for pulping and drying. The coffee is fermented for 16 to 24 hours under closed shade. After the fermentation, the coffees are washed and again graded by density in the washing channels. Then soaked under clean water in the river. The river's name is Gathaithi stream for about 16 to 18 hours. They use a lot of water, even this is the washing process. And after that, the sun dried the coffee for up to 21 days on African drying beds. The coffee is raked and covered in plastic during midday and at night to preserve, to maintain the homogeneity as well, maintain the quality. And Kenya Gathaithi, that's the Gathaithi station, where the washing channel that I was talking about, variety SL28, right behind that board of the coffee, and right in front of the milling station, Gathaithi farmers, and that's the African drying beds, showing the mountains, that beautiful mountain. Next, that's the pulper machine that they used to separate the mucilage and the skin by fermentation. That's how the washing station look like. It's on the terrain, so going based on gravity. So the coffee follows gravity downhill until at the bottom where they pick up the parchment for drying off. From another angle, again, drying bed. Right, that's it. That's my presentation about Colombia Villa Maria and Kenya Gathaithi of our current products. Questions?
That was awesome, Charles.
Thanks, Charles. Good to hear your voice, mate.
Right.
Good to see you.
Yeah, see you as well.
Yeah.
If there's no any questions, I thank you, and thank you to the coffee that provide me all the information. Because I've never been to Colombia or Kenya, so trying to dig up as much information so that I can share with you guys.
Oh, we really appreciate that, Charles. That was awesome.
That's great. I have a quick question
Yes.
before we get into the tasting, just from for you, Charles. Obviously we've had these two coffees previously. This is a new harvest. Has there been any increase in the cupping scores on either of these two coffees in this year, or are they relatively similar in their quality?
In terms of quality, I will have to say that they're pretty similar. It's just I have to say, flavor-wise, there has been like slightly changes to the previous harvest. That was, I think I tasted Villa Maria back in 2020, last year.
Yeah, I've still got both of them here. I've got one in the freezer, so I've been tasting them both,
yeah. You'll notice the difference. I mean, like I have to be very honest. It's pretty similar to Alto Bonito.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Sort of Villa Maria. This time the Villa Maria is kind of like more Pinnacle series, like, you know.
It's funky. It's like that Caballero.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct.
It's that acetic acid.
Yeah,
It's like
Yeah.
Tabasco.
which is quite
Super complex.
super complex. Exactly, which makes it interesting. And
Pizza shapes.
Hey, sorry. What was that? The shape. All right. Yep. So you want to begin? Coffee?
Yeah.
Let's grind the coffee, and I will leave.
And then do we just return in maybe like 10? When do you want us to return? Like, you can keep the Zoom on.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Well, I'll just say.
Okay.
So yeah, get someone to start grinding up some coffee now.
They're grinding the coffee, and we're going to start brewing now.
Yeah, we'll start brewing straight away, pretty much. So it's currently 3:25. Let's give it let's start tasting in about 5-ish minutes, hopefully. Just start tasting after you've broken the crust. and it will get here. They get back by 3:40. So far.
We're so ready.
Kick it off, Linda.
Oh, okay.
Come on, Linda.
I'm frozen. No, sorry. Oh,
You're just pretending.
no, I was pretending to be frozen, but
You don't have to start. Who would like to start? Or how do you find it? How are you finding it on the bar? Are you guys? What are you using on the bar?
us.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry.
Sorry. So we're currently serving the. I should know this. I was just working. Timor Natural, and then the Ethiopian, and then we're using the Ethiopian as well for batch at the moment.
So
But
none of these coffees.
Oh, we did last week. Our customers absolutely love Villa Maria and El Benito. Like they lose their shit for that.
Yeah.
So love it, which is really cool. I like that. I like it. Like, yeah, it's awesome. They just love the complexity and yeah. It's like one of those things, you know, like when you eat something or when you try something and you're not sure, but you keep on trying anyway. And it's actually like, it's actually good.
It's really versatile. Like if you, we've been having it on bar and serving as the barista breakfast, and either way you serve it, it's got something to give. It's so good in milk. Espresso is really like, it's got a really complex finish to it. Yeah, it's pretty hard to find someone that doesn't like this coffee.
Yeah, totally.
I think also that's really, really easy to get. Like a lot of people want to find those notes and it's bang in your face. Just like the Alto Benito, it's like so obviously those couple of flavors. And it does, I guess, invite people in when they feel like they're getting it really, really easily. That's we're seeing a lot of that with our customer base here. Yeah.
And what recipes are you doing, Mike? For the
So, I mean, I've just been playing around actually with the Kenyan this week with some pour over recipes using the drip assist. Just seeing what we could sort of do with that. I'm just having a bit of fun with any new toy that I can get to play around with. But I've been getting some really, really great results with the Kenyan, with the drip assist and staged pour. I was getting, so in the aroma, I was getting black currant, orange blossom, floral, almost like candied sort of orange, red apple, nectarine, almost like the fake blood orange, like the Sanpel Arancetta Rossa sort of flavor in there. Really, really beautiful, clean, it's such a nice coffee. And then with the Colombian, we've just been mucking around with espresso recipes at the moment. It's really hard to pick one that's the one we want to stick on, because if you move the ratio either side, it just highlights a different quality. So they're all good. It's about which one you want to present, really.
Is anyone else finding the same on the bar? What are you guys doing, Lockie?
What were we doing? So we had the Via Maria on batch brew. Kind of took a little while to kind of get it where I wanted it to, because there's a lot of good flavor and there's a lot of bad flavor, I guess, in there as well, like things you might want to minimize. And we actually, I found that I did a TDS one morning and it was quite high. And this was before I drank it. I was like, oh, this is probably gonna be really strong, really bitter. But it was actually it was exactly what it needed. It was probably like nearly 1.5, like 1.45 or something like that off my batch brew. And yeah, I instinctively thought, oh, this is going to be too strong. It's going to be too much of that negative flavor. But actually really quite like high extracted. Yeah, and then when you go below that, it just gets kind of grassy and a little bit sour as well. But yeah, I found that I could push it further than I would a normal coffee on the batch brew. And then
It's really good in one of those AeroPress recipes as well. If you're doing like a bypass AeroPress and you get really, really syrupy.
Yeah.
Similar to what you're saying, quite high TDS on it. Because the body in there is just amazing. Yeah.
So we've been using Villaron Bar now for about 2 weeks, and we've had some kind of, I guess, mixed kind of reviews from customers, and we've got customers that either love it and just like that's the best coffee they've had so far this year, and then we've had other customers that are like it's too intense for them. They're just like it's just too much for them. So it's kind of it's getting those mixed reviews, but like for us, it's been pretty good. Like we're getting. What we wrote just now was green tea, herbal grape, pink lady apple,
malic acidity,
cranberry juice as the finished. What are the thoughts on people's like customer wise?
I haven't really heard too much feedback. Yeah.
One guy said too fruity, so I gave him praise instead.
I couldn't hear you. Kate, what did you say? We couldn't hear you.
Did I come back and say that the Via Maria was way too fruity for him, so gave him a bag of Crave instead. Have some curries, mate.
Did anyone have trouble like dialing in initially and finding recipes?
I think we definitely did when it came to the Villa Maria and the Albanito, just because we've been used to having the Rwandans and the Ethiopians and stuff lately. We're all sort of like kind of becoming accustomed to that sort of like those sort of subtle, light, delicate notes. So for us, trying to find balance was really, really difficult. But it's polarizing at first, like, and then once we got used to the intensity and the complexity of the acidity, like, just went back to basics: sweet, salty, sour, and then we're like, oh, it's cool, it's good, like, yeah.
What ratio are you guys doing?
That's it.
Mel, Linda, what's
we're sort of doing like 1 to 2. We're doing like a little bit over 1 to 2. So we're sort of doing like 21 in, 45, 46 out for our Colombians. Yeah. So not really doing too high yields or anything like that, or anything too crazy. Yeah.
The Alto Benito on bar up until the other day, and we were running that 7.
Say that again.
So the Alto that we had on for espresso, we were doing 21.7.
What?
21 what?
47.
47.
47.
Yeah.
47. Sorry.
Yeah, I generally run Colombians fairly long, sort of like my go-to. It's my instinct, I guess.
Yeah.
If I was going to have the Kenyan on, I'd probably run that about 45, I reckon, probably. But obviously I wouldn't know until I tried it.
Because we're doing 20 grams in and then 42 out. For the Villa Maria.
Different water.
That's true.
Yeah.
No, it's the tamping.
Andrew and I just spent an hour on distribution, so.
So in terms of flavor notes and thoughts, what did you guys get from Via Maria?
Is that to me?
That was to anybody that happened to be.
It's very much like that Caballero, like that dark chocolate. Like I can see how it would be quite polarizing because I felt like polarizing as well.
I think it definitely has less depth than the Caballero, though. You can definitely tell the quality is higher in the Cab.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could see it as soon as the crema came out, it was going to be the same. It was like that funky, dark, sort of oily crema, and you're just like, well, that's going to taste exactly like that one. Yeah.
Would you guys say for me, the texture was quite more like molasses, quite chewy and.
Well, I actually had gelatinous.
Yeah.
Body wise, for me, the Kenya was
gelatinous. Did you, Lucky?
Hey?
Gelatinous.
Gelatinous. Because I mean, the body was kind of like similar. It was quite round, but it just had a bit more viscosity than the Kenya. So yeah, very gloopy.
Gloopy. Oh,
that's a good word. Yeah.
That's a good one. It's one for the book.
That's cool.
It's one of those words that makes you feel uncomfortable, like moist.
No, it's not.
Feel.
But definitely, yeah, like Parmesan, man. Like for me, it just smelled like initially.
Yep.
It's quite salty.
Yeah.
Was that the dry aroma?
Yes. Yeah.
I wrote down bin juice. It just smelled real weird, like cigarettes and just like the water down the bottom of the bin.
You should speak to Dan about putting that on the label.
And what do you reckon for flavour?
Parmesan. Sorry.
Dark chocolate.
Yeah, dark chocolate.
I was definitely getting like guava or blood orange, something like that. Like purple grape.
Some cranberries.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Are you talking about Villa Maria or Kenya now?
Villa Maria. Villa Maria.
Oh, Villa Maria. Yeah. Sorry.
So I was when I was tasting it, I was trying to sort of break down sweetness, acidity, and nut, and raisins. I guess like I got a real intense sort of raisiny flavour that came through it. I had it on the aroma, and then as you tasted it, you could tell where that that raisiny dark sweetness could be sort of picked up as a molasses or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
I got like salty plums. Kind of reminded me of that, like when you get to the end when it starts getting a bit more sweeter, but like that weird. I don't know if you guys, has anyone had salty plums before?
Well,
no.
Maybe.
The other thing I was going to say is that has anyone had like dehydrated?
Oh, everyone.
Has anyone had like dehydrated raspberries before?
Yeah.
Yeah, like candied or dehydrated raspberries. They've got a really subtle like sweetness of that uptick on the finish of it as well. But yeah, it's intense straight up.
Like I said, it's not getting any better as it cools.
No.
I think I preferred it when it was warm. It's just getting a bit more savoury as it cools down.
Yeah. That's the same as that cab for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, then what do you reckon about the Kenya? What were we getting from the dry aroma with that?
Got orange blossom, really floral.
Yeah.
Black currant, more sort of that sort of Ribena juice sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We definitely got like barbecue sauce on the dry grounds. So that tomatoey kind of like.
Oh, you're talking dry. Sorry, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I always find it hard with Kenyans to pick aroma. It just like always just smells like currants to me for everything. But yeah, I think I pick up more once it's wet, like when we taste it. Yeah.
When it's moist.
I really didn't want to say that. Like,
yeah. What about flavour?
I love a good moist aroma.
Not mold. We don't
orange,
like
black tea, black currant, dark chocolate, pear. It's very clean. It's delicious.
Yeah, it's beautiful. There's some nectarine in there again.
Like red licorice.
I got lavender.
Yeah.
Some sort of like golden syrup or molasses finish.
Yeah, I get that.
Kind of caramelized.
Yeah, a bit
They're
like,
definitely like a molasses golden syrup.
Yeah.
Yum.
Yeah, and just very round as well.
You know what I mean.
hey, Lucky,
Yeah.
I want to try and figure out how to make the aroma of Kenya into a perfume.
Okay. Go buy a tin of like crushed tomatoes and rub that over yourself.
I was gonna say.
What? It doesn't. No, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Tomatoes.
Yeah.
This is not a very
Reckon.
tomatoey.
It's not a tomato one, which is good.
It's a hint of tomatoes.
Does anyone remember how this compares to the old one, to the original last year's one?
I remember I drank a lot of it last year.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Hard to say, we get a lot of Kenyans.
The internet. She remembers drinking a lot of it.
Can't pronounce any.
What was the last one you had?
Zahabu.
Was it Zahabu?
Yeah.
What's the one with the caramel one, the caramelly one that really smelled like caramel?
There was like Kanamui as well.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. I think I found that one to be a bit brighter. Like I generally prefer sweeter Kenyans to like the more bright ones, for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, we're coming up on like the last couple of minutes here. Is there any other thoughts, any other questions or anything?
Not from us.
Any volunteers for the next round? You don't have to volunteer now. I'll come knocking on your door.
I'm happy to. Andrew can do the next one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a cupping, it can be on anything really.
Okay.
Just coffee related, but like Michaela and I can have a bit of a chat with you offline about some ideas and how to set it up.
Yeah, it'd be cool because then it just forces us to learn.
And yeah, if anyone else has any ideas or, everyone will kind of get an opportunity to run a session. And thank you, Charles, for all your work that you just put in, and Lockie as well for keeping us on track. So well done, guys.
Thank you, Charles. And Lockie, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
And it's really good to see everyone.
Yeah, guys.
Mickey Jack.
Let's try and make it happen. It's so good.
Time.
Stay safe.
Yeah, bye.
Bye, guys.